Welcome to this explainer. I am so glad you're here today because, well, we're diving into a masterclass on something that usually gets totally buried under the hype of shiny new algorithms. Think of me as your senior consultant today, and we are going to calibrate your enterprise AI strategy. We're talking about why exactly how you structure your AI teams, literally the org chart, is just as absolutely crucial as the technology itself. You can have the most advanced machine learning tools in the world, but if your organizational operating system is broken, you're not going anywhere. The choices you make about where to put these capabilities, who reports to whom, where the talent actually sits, who has the final say, that's what actually determines how fast your organization can learn and ultimately scale. All right, so let's jump right into this core thesis. Technology alone does not create organizational capability. Think about what that actually looks like in the real world. You could have this brilliant, world-class AI team totally tucked away inside one specific department. And sure, they might be doing incredible work. But guess what? That capability is practically invisible to the rest of the company. Or, on the flip side, maybe you've got this high-level governance board writing up sweeping AI policies. But if they don't have any actual technical capability or the power to implement things, it's just words on a page. The actual arrangement of your people, their authority, and your resources, that's the real operating system dictating your success here. To really ground this, let's talk about Dewey. She's an executive running a massive conglomerate, and she found herself dealing with a monster of a headache. Her AI efforts were just completely disconnected. She had 3 different completely siloed organizations, all trying to figure out AI totally on their own. They were duplicating work left and right, wasting budget, and literally unable to learn from each other. Her teams were out there solving the exact same problems in total isolation. It's crazy, right? But it's an incredibly common, not to mention expensive, headache. And it's exactly the kind of friction that just kills enterprise-level innovation.
So, to untangle DeFi's mess, here is our agenda for today. 1. The decentralized chaos. 2. The centralized bottleneck. 3. The federated sweet spot. And 4. Choosing your organization model.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the decentralized chaos, speed versus duplication. So let's look at Dewey's initial setup. This is the decentralized model. In this setup, your AI capability lives entirely inside independent business units. Each unit builds its own team, buys its own software, chases its own use cases. Now, this perfectly illustrates a huge trade-off. On the plus side, speed. Business units move incredibly fast because they totally own their capability. The tech staff gets deep domain knowledge, like a retail team's data scientists actually learn the ins and outs of retail, not just abstract math. But here is where it all breaks down. Decentralization creates massive, massive duplication. You end up with 5 different units building 5 identical data pipelines for the exact same customer data. Security standards go totally out the window, and honestly, the worst part is the isolated knowledge. A data scientist in one unit has a massive breakthrough, but that knowledge never crosses the hall to help another team struggling with the exact same issue. Moving right along to Section 2, the centralized bottleneck, control versus speed. So when executives see all that decentralized chaos, what's the natural reaction? They pull everything into the complete opposite extreme, the centralized model. They want to rein it all in, putting every bit of capability under one single central function, maybe a chief data officer. Now, don't get me wrong, there are positives. You get 0 duplication. You build exactly 1 data platform, not 6. You have strict, consistent standards, which compliance teams absolutely love. But operationally, man, that central team inevitably becomes a severe bottleneck. Every single request from every business unit has to squeeze through one door. It creates this massive, endless queue. The central team literally cannot keep up, and the business units start feeling like the center is slow and completely out of touch. And worse, the top talent in that central hub realizes they're spending all their time managing a bureaucratic queue instead of doing cool technical work, so they quit. It turns out centralization scales terribly once you're past the early stages. Which brings us to Section 3, the federated sweet spot, the hybrid approach. To finally solve her bottleneck, Dewey shifted to what I like to call the Goldilocks approach, the federated model. It is honestly the best of both worlds. You've got a central hub providing shared infrastructure, tools, and governance. But, and this is absolutely key, the actual embedded AI practitioners live right there inside the business units. This gives you the security and standardization you need from the center while keeping your technical talent totally immersed in the day-to-day domain context, right next to the real business problems. The knowledge actually flows in both directions. The beating heart of this whole federated setup is that central hub, usually called a center of excellence, or COE. Now, this hub absolutely has to nail 4 specific jobs. First, building and maintaining shared infrastructure so teams aren't constantly reinventing the wheel. Second, developing and enforcing enterprise standards for risk and security. Third, providing highly specialized expertise. Think advanced ML researchers or regulatory experts, people it would be way too expensive to hire for every single unit. And fourth, it has to be a centralized learning hub, scooping up lessons from all over the company and sharing them out. If your COE doesn't do these 4 things perfectly, it just mutates into another under-resourced, bureaucratic black hole that slows everybody down. For DOE, she actually built a super targeted 12-person team just to act as that perfect hub.
But I'll be honest, federated structures do create a very real challenge: reporting complexity. I mean, who does that embedded data scientist actually report to? To keep the whole thing from falling apart, organizations use matrix accountability. Basically, the embedded practitioners have a solid line report to their business unit. That's where their daily priorities come from. But they also keep a dotted line report to the central hub. This makes sure they're sticking to enterprise standards and staying plugged into the wider learning community. It's a really smart way to make sure your embedded talent never loses touch with either the business goals or the central governance.
And hey, the proof is absolutely in the results. Remember Dewey's siloed mess from earlier? Well, in year 1 of her new federated model, something amazing happened. Her retail unit had this massive breakthrough in demand forecasting. And because that center of excellence was acting as a learning hub, that exact breakthrough was adapted and deployed by her manufacturing unit in just 3 months. 3 months! That kind of rapid cross-pollination? Yeah, that absolutely never happens in a chaotic, decentralized structure. All right, on to our final part, section 4. Choosing your organization model, finding your fit. Since there's no magic, one-size-fits-all model out there, I want to give you a quick checklist to evaluate and calibrate your own AI structure. Ask yourself these 3 things. First, what's your AI maturity? Are you pretty early in the journey with limited tech talent? If so, that favors centralization to build a solid foundation. But if you've got established capability across the board, you can handle decentralization. Second, what about industry regulation? If you're in finance, healthcare, things like that, compliance is huge. That heavily favors strong central governance. But if you're in a consumer business with lower regulatory heat, you can decentralize a bit more safely. Finally, unit interdependence. Do your units share core customers or data? If yes, you really need central coordination. But if you're a highly independent conglomerate, you can let those units run a bit more free. Just remember, the right structure isn't whatever looks prettiest on a whiteboard. It's the one your company's culture can actually operate. I want to leave you with this provocative thought as you go back and evaluate your own enterprise AI architecture. Really take a hard look at your reporting lines, your resources, and where your talent is sitting. Ask yourself, are you building an operating system that allows rapid learning to flow seamlessly across your boundaries? Or have you just built a structure designed to rigidly control technology completely at the expense of speed? The companies that win the AI race won't just have the coolest models. They're going to have the best structures for scaling human capability. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy architecting!